Do you know that you must not become a miner or you must not own a well set up computer for you to earn cryptocurrencies on the blockchain network? Do you know that there are some blockchains that actually you don't need to set up computers to compete with other computers to solve complex mathematical puzzle like in the proof of work before you can earn cryptocurrencies? There are actually blockchain network that what you do is you come there and you stake your cryptocurrencies. And we are going to be uncovering that. In today's lesson, we are going to be discussing on the validators. And validators actually, they work based on the type of blockchain we call the proof of stake. We are going to discuss about the proof of stake into details, and you understand how it actually works and how someone can become a validator by simply staking part of their cryptocurrencies without necessarily competing with other computers like the proof of work. So this is what we are going to be dipping deep into today. Hello everyone, you are welcome once more to today's lesson. You know, here we make understanding cryptocurrency very easy for beginners. In today's lesson, we are going to be discussing about validators. And we are going to discuss about validators into details. We are going to understand how the proof of stake mechanism works on a blockchain network. We are also going we discussed in our previous lessons about blockchain already. We discussed about the public, the private. We discussed about a lot of types of blockchain. If this is your first time you're watching my videos, please you can refer back to our previous lessons to get the insight of what we have been teaching so far, so that you can catch along with us and we keep on moving. In today's lesson, we are discussing on validators. And when we are talking about validators, we are talking about a type of blockchain that has to do with staking, proof of stake. Individuals coming together to stake in such a way that they can be selected to be the next person to add the new block on the blockchain. So we are going to discuss on this, and you will get to understand it in details. So what are validators? Validators simply are a group of organizations or individuals that are responsible in verifying transactions and adding blocks on the network. And this is mostly happening on blockchains that run based on the proof of stake. Unlike our first type of consensus that we discussed about, we're talking about the proof of stake, which was maintained by which is being practiced by Bitcoin miners, where miners come together, they compete with each other, they use a lot of energy to compete, they use a lot of electricity to set up this computer, spend a lot of money to set up this computer and compete with others, and hence they consume energy too much. So the alternative that people are actually adopting is the proof of stake, which is the topic we are going to be discussing on today. Because in the proof of stake, people don't actually need to set up these complex computers. You don't need to consume a lot of electricity before you can actually before you can actually take part in validating and transactions on this blockchain network. What validators actually do here is you stake, you own these cryptocurrencies, you stake your cryptocurrency. Staking is like you lock it on this blockchain network, and validators are chosen based on the amount of cryptocurrency staked. So the higher you stake, the higher your chances of being selected to be the next validator to add a block on that blockchain network. And once you are selected to be a validator, you in turn you are rewarded. You are rewarded because you have staked your cryptocurrencies. Like we also say, there's a lot of transparency in this because there's a mechanism we call the slashing. If you try to do a fraudulent activity on the proof of stake blockchain, there's what we call slashing. Slashing is activated on you and you might lose your staked cryptocurrency or part of it is confiscated. So you can see that everything on the blockchain has to do with security because first, you have to protect everyone that is participating on the blockchain network, everyone that is taking part, either you're sending, you are receiving transactions. You have to protect everyone. So the proof of stake is different because individual must stake. You must own this cryptocurrency first. Then you stake these cryptocurrencies on the blockchain network and you are given the opportunity like any other. Millions of people come together, they stake their cryptocurrencies there. Thousands of people they are there, they save their cryptocurrencies there. And the next validator to approve the next transaction is picked based on the amount of cryptocurrencies they're having. And of course, there's also going to be a disadvantage because those that own little cryptocurrencies might never get the chance to validate a transaction because they pick based on the amount of cryptocurrency you have staked on this blockchain network. So they hire someone stake cryptocurrency, the higher the chances of continuous validation. They keep on picking this person to validate these transactions. So you can also see that the advantage of this is that it's also fast. It's also fast because thousands of people are actually competing. They are staking their cryptocurrencies. They actually own these cryptocurrencies and they are staking it to now maintain the blockchain network by validating transactions. And they are rewarded in cryptocurrencies. So there's also a lot of security. There's less energy consumption on this type of blockchain network. So this is what we understand about validators. How are validators? How does validators operate on the proof of stake? Actually, like I said, validators they stake part of their cryptocurrencies and they are given the power to verify transactions. Once a validator is selected to verify a transaction, that validator actually verifies that transaction. When the validator verifies that transaction is not automatically added on the blockchain. The block is not automatically added on the blockchain. Other validators also have to come in and confirm that transaction. After the choosing validator has approved, maybe validated that transaction, thousand others will also be given access to verify to see if this transaction is legit, to see if actually the sender, the person that was sending this coin, actually have this coin, have not spent this coin. Has the person signed the sending agreement? So a lot of this also count. So no, when we say a validator is choosing to validate this transaction, that does not mean once that validator approves that transaction, the transaction is automatically added on the blockchain network. No. Once the validator is chosen, the validator actually is given that responsibility to verify, go through the check and verify to see if the sender actually is in possession of sufficient funds. The sender actually hasn't used these funds before and the sender has signed the agreement to send out these funds. So when all of this is being checked, by that validator and he confirms that this is actually a real transaction, this transaction now is broadcast to thousand other validators on the blockchain network also. The validators, the other validators, they verify also to make sure the transaction is legit, and in turn, a block is added on the blockchain network. Staking. So what is staking? We spoke about staking, someone staking their cryptocurrency. What actually is staking? Staking is simply someone locking up part of their cryptocurrency holdings. You actually own this cryptocurrency, say Bitcoin. You lock it up on a blockchain network to help maintain the running of that blockchain network. So when you lock up part of your cryptocurrency holding, you are now a part of that network. You are now part of that blockchain network, and you stand a chance of being selected as a validator to validate a transaction. And this selection is done randomly based on fairness. It's done randomly. The higher you stake, the higher your chances of being selected to be a validator to add the next block on the blockchain. And of course, you are rewarded as a validator. Once you are chosen, you are rewarded. Either it rewards you in a newly created cryptocurrency or transaction fee, because there's what we call a transaction fee. They reward you in transaction fee, or they reward you in a newly created cryptocurrency, depending on the transaction you are validating. So staking is simply you locking up, you willfully, you read the agreement, you accept, and you lock up part of your cryptocurrency. When you lock up part of your cryptocurrency, that does not mean that you have given part of your cryptocurrency to that blockchain forever. No. When you stake, if you don't want to, if you no longer want to be a validator, you can simply go there and you unstake your cryptocurrency and they go back to your wallet. So when you stake is you lock. When you lock up means you are not going to use those cryptocurrency. You actually, it's like you are saving money in the bank. Like you are having a saving account, you save that money in your bank account, and you say this money, I will not use this money for 5 years. Yeah, in return, the bank is loaning out that money and is giving you interest on that money. And if the bank was actually running like a crypto, like a blockchain network, you will be given the power to decide, make decisions, validate transactions in that bank. So this is what people actually do. They lock up part of their cryptocurrency, say a period of time, and they are now acting as validators. They sign up to be validators. They lock up their cryptocurrency, and once they are selected to be a validator, to be the next validator to act the next block on the blockchain network, they follow the rules. They verify this transaction, and this transaction is also broadcast to thousand others. They verify to see if he did his work well. And once you are doing your work well, there's higher chances that they can keep on picking you to be the next validator to add the block on the blockchain. Like I said, selecting here is based on fairness and the amount of cryptocurrency you stake. Advantages of proof of stake or the validators. So, what are some advantages of this type of a blockchain where someone has to stake their cryptocurrency and they are given the power? First, this has actually bring more participants to the blockchain network. A lot of people are now participating as validators. People can sign up easily. It's not like in the proof of work where people have to, you need a lot of money before you can set up your computers to start competing with others. You need a lot of energy, you need a lot of electricity. The proof of stake is energy efficient. You can see that people don't need a lot of energy. You don't need a lot of electricity for you to act as a validator. So validators are actually given the chance based on the fact that you stake your cryptocurrencies. The more you stake, the more you have the chance of being selected as the next validator. So the proof of stake has actually solved a lot of complex situations that people were going through. A lot of people cannot participate in mining Bitcoin today because of the cost. Setting up Bitcoin miners, energy consumption, they cannot participate, and it's very expensive as well. But a lot of people are participating as validators on different blockchains, especially blockchain that actually run based on the proof of stake. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself in today's lesson, and I wish we are going to meet again tomorrow in tomorrow's lesson. In tomorrow's lesson, we are going to be discussing on smart contracts. And of course, anyone that knows about cryptocurrency, when we are talking about smart contracts, you have to start thinking about Ethereum. You have to start thinking about Ethereum, and we are going to discuss about smart contracts tomorrow. We're going to understand how smart contracts actually operate. If you are enjoying yourself, if you are learning with me, please do me a favor by liking, subscribe, share, invite others. Let's keep growing together. Let's learn. Let's not be left behind. Let's learn to understand more about cryptocurrency. Let's actually know. Let's actually get to know what is actually transpiring when we send and receive cryptocurrencies. And that is the reason why I am here, to break it down for you to understand what is actually happening when you send cryptocurrency to someone. And this is what I have been doing by breaking down the blockchain technology for you to understand, because blockchain is what actually powers cryptocurrencies. So I will see you in the next one. And until then, you stay blessed.